Hello. So today, I had to take the ACT. Oh my God! You can probably tell by what I'm wearing: sweatpants, t-shirt, my oh my gosh! I just had a brain fart. Ballerina slipper necklace and a messy bun. I probably took like 5 minutes to get ready this morning, and then my dad made me some bacon. It was so good. Oh, you can't see me rubbing my belly. Rubbing belly. So that's not really what I want to talk about today, but there was like, oh my gosh, hold that thought. Okay, so today when I was taking the ACT, there was a fire alarm. I was fixing to have a cow because I already took half of it, and we had to stop because we were in the third section, and some idiot must have blew something up in science or something. I don't know. There was a fire, and so I was like, oh my gosh, if the school burns down and I don't have my test finished, I'm gonna be pissed. But anyways, okay. So I was gonna talk about my boyfriend on this one. His name is Devin Gilbert, and about a year ago, well, technically from the dates, like the year date, it was like 2, but it was about a year ago. His wreck was on November the 13th, 2010, and that day, me and my best friend Lydia, we had asked, we texted AJ, and we were like, what are you doing today, and he was like, I'm gonna go pick Devin up, and we'll probably just hang out. And so I was like, well, okay, well, why don't you guys come over to my house? And so they were like, okay, we'll come over. And so they came over, and we hung out for a few hours, and then AJ said his mom wanted him home at 9 o'clock that night, and so they left. And not too long after that, this girl, Kelly Bell, texted my best friend Lydia, and she was like, are Devin and AJ in a wreck? And me and Lydia were like, what are you talking about, Because, like, our friend, a couple of our friends have pulled pranks on us like that before. And it was because, like, they called us one night, and they were like, we have a gun, and we're going to kill ourselves. I don't know why. They were just being stupid. And so then they had a fake gun, and they pulled the trigger, and, like, they were like, oh no, he's dead, blah, 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 and then they're like, oh, we're just kidding, a little bit later. And so we thought it was something like that, and, so then I called AJ, no, I texted AJ, and I was like, are you and Devin okay? And, sorry, there was something on my laptop. Anyway, so I called, like, he didn't text back after I asked him. And so Lydia called him when he answered, and he was in tears, like, crying. And so Lydia's, like, screaming at me, and I'm just, like, out of it. I can't hear anything. I'm staring off in space. I'm just in shock. Like, I'm sitting here like this for, like, 5 minutes. Probably not that long, but because she was, like, pulling on me, on my arms and stuff, telling me to get up. And so my dad and mom heard her yelling at me, and they came out of the living room, and they were like, what's going on? And so Lydia told them, and then my dad took us, and it was like 5 minutes up the road from my house. And so we got there, and he made me and Lydia stay at the car. He parked a while back, and then he walked up there, and he was talking to the firemen and police and stuff like that were up there. And at the time, Devin's mom wasn't even, like, here. She was, like, away with her dad or in Texas or something. I don't know where she was for sure, but I know she wasn't around. And so she flew in, and AJ was fine. He just had whiplash, but it's still not good. And then Devin was already at the hospital. They told us he wasn't gonna make it, and everything. Like, I was up there every day at the hospital. The first week was probably the hardest because they told us he wasn't going to be anything more than a vegetable, actually, on Lydia's birthday. And then the night that he was at the hospital, they told us that he wasn't going to make it past the night. But he did. I mean, this boy is amazing. And so the first week was really hard. Like, the second day he was in the hospital, I skipped school, me and Lydia did, and we stayed at the hospital all day and waited so we could see him. I mean, I saw him on the first day, but it was like a really long line. Like, you had to wait for family and immediate family to see him first, and then friends could come in if there was still time. And then like, I saw him like twice, I think, on the first day, and then the second day I saw him a few times, and like, I skipped school and I went to the hospital at like 6 o'clock in the morning because I didn't have a ride and my parents took me. And so we went up there and we just slept like most of the day. We ate McDonald's because there was McDonald's in the hospital. And then around like 6 or 7, my mom and dad came back up to the hospital, and they were like, "You have to go. Like, you've been here all day. You need sleep. You need rest." And at that week, my recital for ballet was the exact same week. And they were like, "You have to go to ballet and all this. It's Monday night." And I was just like, "I don't want to go to ballet. I don't want to do anything." So I texted my ballet instructor, and I was just like, "I can't go to ballet tonight." And she was understandable, and she was just like, "Are you still going to do the recital and all this?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so after that, like, I was probably throwing this big hissy fit in the hospital. My parents were getting really pissed off with me, but I mean, I was up there every day that he was in the hospital in the ICU, and then I was there like maybe once a week when he was out of ICU, and he had his own private room, and it was just hard. And the day I went back to school, the third day of the hospital, it was horrible. I was walking into school, and I was walking to like second or third period, and I didn't know who it was. There was some girl behind me, like, just sitting there talking to her friend, and she was like, "I bet they were drinking and all this." In reality, that wasn't it. We weren't drinking. We weren't doing anything bad. We were actually being good teenagers, and we were just sitting around in my living room talking. And that really hurt me because that didn't happen. I didn't even know this girl talking about me, saying that we were drunk when we weren't. And I started crying when I got to class because of that. Like, and I came home and my dad was just like, don't like care what other people think or say. And so this is, I mean, he's getting better now. It's been about a year and a few months, and actually he's coming up here in a few weeks for prom with me, and he's gonna look so cute, and I'm just excited for that. It's really hard being 9 hours away now that I've moved. And actually, he lives in my old house. They're renting it. And he's probably the sweetest guy ever. You couldn't meet someone any nicer or sweeter or funnier. Oh my gosh, he was so funny. And he still is sweet and funny and nice and everything, and he hasn't changed. And he's actually going to inpatient rehab this week and next week and the week after that until like the week of prom, and then he's coming up here. But they're actually, I think they're trying to get him walking in these next 3 weeks, and that would be awesome if he was walking by prom. But I'm not gonna get my hopes up because I want to get disappointed. But I really, fingers crossed, hope he's walking by then. I love this boy with all my heart. I couldn't imagine myself like finding someone as good as him. Oh my gosh, I'm crying. I know I've been watered up this whole video. You probably can't see, but and I'm talking downwards. It's a subject that's kind of hard on me because like he was my best friend when that happened. Like he's one of my best friends. Like I remember it was the week of homecoming, and we had like these themes for homecoming, and like one day it was Disney Day, and he came into class with this hat on. It was the Mickey Mouse ones with the big ears up here, and then it said his name across it, and I was like, oh my gosh, you had to let me wear it. And so he just laughed, and then he gave me the hat, and I wore the whole period. There was this one time he came over to my best friend's house, and so did our friend Dylan, and we played basketball, and me and Dylan played against Lydia and Devin, and we beat them at basketball twice. It was so funny because that day they weren't allowed to come into Lydia's house, so they were just outside, and oh my gosh, it's super hot in Mississippi in the summertime if you don't know. Like, you may think it's hot in the north and all this, but really, you just don't know. And so we made them sit outside of her window, and we ate popsicles, and Devin stole my popsicle, and oh, that day was so much fun. And I mean, you really don't know like what could happen until it really happens. It's really what this is coming down to. Like, if you that could like if this something like this happens to you, like just tell me, and like I'll add you to my prayer list. I pray every night, and I will really pray for you. And this really shows that there is God and that there are miracles, and just so many things can happen, and you just have to be prepared for it. Love God and believe in Him and pray. You don't have to go to church to believe in God, and He realizes your lives are busy, but there is times when you need to have time for God. Maybe 20 minutes to pray and read the Bible at night. Listen to your Christian music, like radio, every once in a while. I listen to it before I go to bed and before school in the morning, like when I wake up, because it makes me feel like my day is so much better when I listen to it. And I mean, if something like this happens, don't just believe in God because you want your friend or relative to get better, but really believe in Him because you love Him and you really and truly do live for God. And maybe something like this will change your thoughts on God, and you'll start being more Christian. I don't know how you put that, but no. Thanks for watching, and I'm Leia, and I'll see you later.